All right, here's my book haul. Hi, my name is Daniel, and welcome to my channel, Daniel's Bibliophagy. Today we have a massive book haul. So I was on Facebook the other day, and this one lady in a local group was like, I have a ton of books that I just need to get rid of. I just need to offload. And she was just looking for suggestions of like a local shop that she could send them to, or just advice as to where like one could remove an entire library. And I was like, oh well, hey, I'll take them off your hands. And she actually said yes. So I was like, oh, I was joking, but okay. I have a massive book buying problem, and this is the culmination of that. So when I went to her house, I ended up bringing home about 33 of those big paper boxes, and then 8 big plastic tubs full of books. So I cannot support that big of a library just being infused and integrated into my own personal library. So I went through and cherry picked what I want, and my sister came over and did the same. We had a great time. And then I kept what I thought was just, a small fraction of the books and then donated the rest. Um, I just counted them, and it turns out I have like over 70 books. So this is going to be a very rapid fire haul video because if I went to any great detail on what I have here, it would just last forever. Um, I was encouraged to make this video by MJ from Reading This Life, and she really wanted to see what I picked up when I told her, yeah, I have like an SUV just full of books. Um, so, if this gets to be repetitive or boring for anyone else, you are excused. But MJ, you need to sit through the whole thing because we don't like waste around here. So you asked for it, now you have to eat it. So the first thing that I got was Shardik. This is about a culture who worships a giant bear by the author of Watership Down. And I'm just flipping through these real quick, looking for ephemera, because I noticed that the previous owner of these books loved, here's a book hound, which I guess is a store that no longer exists in Akron, Ohio. But I found like a whole bunch of just like little slips of paper and whatnot, and I just find that fascinating. So we have Shardik. We also have, this is by the way very eclectic, so um, I can't really sort by item type because we'll be here all day. But the next thing I have, not like Shardik, is The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, written in 1776. And just doing an ephemera check, that is someone's phone number. So, Kathy, maybe I'll call you later. So, The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. We also have something unusual here. It's the Prophecies of Nostradamus. And this was translated by someone, hopefully they credited them, Erica Cheatham. So this is a lot of garbage about things that people supposedly believe in. It's interesting. Don't think I'll be keeping it, but I just wanted to read it. I've never read any Nostradamus. Next up, we have Eyes of Prey, which is a thriller, and that's the extent of my knowledge. Same goes for Ann Tyler, The Breathing Lessons, but the step back cover is really what made me wanna pick it up. Apparently, everyone knows the couple like the Morans. Morans? Maggie and her scatterbrained ways are just slightly irritating, but good-hearted. Attempts to make everything right for everyone. And Ira, infinitely patient, who's addicted to solitaire and who whistles out popular tunes, is the only barometer of his moods. They have learned all there is to know about each other. Two ordinary lives in a comfortable routine marriage. But on the road to a friend's funeral, they make some unexpected detours and discover how extraordinary their ordinary lives really are. So that's breathing lessons. No idea about quality, but I do know about this one, and that is The Odyssey by Homer. This is translated by W.H.D. Rouse, and why I picked this up is I do have copies up there of the Iliad and the Odyssey, but I don't have any prose ones, and apparently this is a prose translation, so I will report back once I read it and see if I prefer it, but I don't know. When it's an epic poem, I wouldn't think I'd want prose. Who knows? I've only read it a couple times, so. Next up, along the same lines as the Odyssey, is another classic, Fire. I know nothing about this. Yep. It looks like a bog standard thriller with a one-word title. Let's see, we have a ticket to see Jimmy Buffett. So that's pretty fire. We also have another one-word possible thriller, Plague by Graham Masterson. Millions succumb, others must wait to die. No idea what that's like. Here's another, appears to be a horror novel. Comes the Blind Fury. A century ago, a gentle blind girl walked the cliffs of Paradise Point. Then the children came, taunting, teasing, until she lost her footing and fell, shrieking her rage into the drowning sea. Comes the Blind Fury. Another thing related to Watership Down, completely by accident, is an actual, not a sequel, but one of the next books written by... Oh, no, I apologize. This is a spiritual successor to Watership Down, about dogs. I don't have a dog. I'd like one, but I have cats. Next we have Star of the Unborn, which is a gorgeous cover, and I know nothing about it, other than it's by the author of the Song of Bernadette. Also not have read. There's something sticking out. A discount card for a pizza shop that, again, doesn't exist. All right, here we have Horrors, which I believe is a short story collection. Has stuff from Stephen King, Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough, William Nolan, and many more. Horrors. Dean Koontz, The Eyes of Darkness. I used to like Dean Koontz a lot more than I have recently. I don't know if I just have outgrown him or if he's just that hit or miss. But we'll try it out. Next we have The Black Dahlia. Never read it, seen the movie. I remember enjoying it, but that's the extent of my knowledge there. This one might require some tasteful finger placement, so The Night Church. And that is, in the night church, on the altar of the true church, no one will see the rape, no one will hear the screams of ecstasy, no one except the devil's disciples. So, good candidate for Garbagus. I'm going to set that aside. Next, it's a threefer, and that is a bunch of John Irving novels. We have 158-Pound Marriage, Setting Free the Bears, and The Water Method Man. Never read him. But here we have The Last Angry Man, and I was attracted by the blurb on the back by the Pittsburgh Press. If you plan to read only one novel this year, make this the one. So, I'm set for either this year, though I've read quite a bit this year, so maybe I'll save it for next year and just be done one video, and we're set. You might be praying for that by the end of this. Next up, we have Crazy Joe. Not that Crazy Joe, this Crazy Joe. Know nothing about this, but I believe it became a movie. So, Crazy Joe by Mike Barone. Barone. I don't know how that's said. Here's an actual classic. It's Hiroshima by John Hersey. Or Hersey? I guess there's no H there. I've been saying it wrong for years. So, yeah, this is kind of non-fictionalized fiction, or vice versa, where it's a new type of journalism was created, so they claim, about following survivors of Hiroshima. Next is something that I know I have had like 8,000 times, and I see it everywhere, but I don't know where my copy is. It's Night by Elie Wiesel. And we also have an article about Boston on the inside. And if this is the one I think it was, excuse me, we have a library permit from a high school way back in the when, and it says, "Hey baby, what's your sign? Boobquarius." So that's some awesome childish humor for Garb August. Next, we have The Joys of Yiddish by Leo Rostin. And again, this is probably not something I'm going to hold on to forever, but I love, learning about words and phrases and how they are. Like the word bulba means potato, and it's also an error, boner, or faux pas. And they have a couple different pronunciations, and I'm sure I didn't do either of them, but the second usage is the most frequent and amusing. Oh, she did that. Can't read. Oh, she did make that bulba. He is famous for his outlandish bulbas. Anyway. Here's another classic, Gulliver's Travels, in this Modern Library College edition. I have a couple editions of this, and I'm debating having this be the one I keep. It's in a little bit better shape than the really, really ancient Norton edition. It's like orange. I don't know. I don't need two copies, but I would like to keep the best one. All right, we have a hardcover history book, Julius Caesar, and that's by Philip Freeman. I don't know a whole lot about Roman history. I tried last year to read SPQR. I think it was last year. It was either that or the year before. And it didn't land for me because I think I don't know enough about Roman history. So I have something about Julius Caesar. Probably not, again, the best place to start, but it is like, I've read the Shakespeare play. Next up is another copy of something I own, but I like this hardcover better. Stephen King's The Dead Zone. I haven't read it yet, but I have 3 copies somehow, so I'll be giving them a new home. Here's another classic I'm upgrading. It's Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. And I love this cover design. It's basic, but I always preferred this book over 1984 when given a choice between the two. It was more entertaining, and I think better. I don't know. Maybe it's just a preference thing. I like some weird stuff. Here we have a novel about not a Nazi, well, not quite, but a German soldier during World War II. And that's hard to do, but it's called The Keep. And I've seen this floating around on booktube, and I noticed that he had a beautiful hardcover copy, and I wanted to read it, and now I have it. So, The Keep. Here's something exclusively picked up for Garb August. Not going to be able to read any of it right now because I went through it and it's filthy, but that's The Limerick. And these are just so foul. It's just a pile of limericks throughout the history. We have stuff from the Greatest Generation, um, stuff all the way from the 1800s, I think. It's fun. It's not good literature, but hey, I'm not above some dirty jokes. Next we have Fear Itself. That's the horror fiction of Stephen King, and I believe it's just a dissertation on the appeal of Stephen King, or why it's captured people's imaginations. Stephen King was a very formative writer for me, in my reading journey anyway. Still love him. Not all of his stuff lands for me anymore, but again, like much more than Dean Koontz, he has a special place in my heart. Like F. Scott Fitzgerald, and it's just a short story collection of our little handsome man right here. But you know all about him anyway, so why am I talking? We have King again. This is an upgrade again for a previous edition I owned. This is a trade paperback of The Stand, the complete and uncut edition. I don't know if it needed to be uncut. I'm still a little sour about the ending of this one, but the journey getting there was really good. And the fact that it ties into his Dark Tower series is always just great. We have a little philosophy by Jean-Paul Sartre, The Transcendence of Ego. Not much to say about him other than he was very popular he popularized existentialism. No fun little... If anything were to have, like, you know, a quippy little bookmark in here, you would think it'd be this, but alas. Got more philosophy, Moral Reasons, by Jonathan Dancy. I don't know anything about it, and when the blurb just says, it's hard to do justice, and then it has an ellipses after that, they don't know what to say about it either, so it might be good. More King. That's a fresh, new to me, copy of Cujo. This wasn't my favorite, but also when I first read it, it's when my son was the exact same age as the child in danger, and I just can't do that. I'm getting over it a little bit now, but when my son was like 4, it shakes me now. Like I read Pet Sematary around the same time, a reread of that around the same time, and I was just in the car and thinking about a certain scene. I just burst into tears. So maybe I'm just lame. We have another King, Rose Madder. You would think, oh, a step back cover. No, it's just step back blurbs. Very disappointing. Please tell me I have some more. Oliver Twist. But we're not done with Dickens. We also have The Mystery of Edwin Drood. And this has been something I wanted to read for a while. I haven't gotten to this one yet, but I do have the Dan Simmons book, Drood, and I would like to read this before I read that, if at all possible. Here's some more philosophy, and that's Ayn Rand. I have a few of her books. Did not have this one, I don't think, so I just picked it up because, hey, it was free, so why not? If I have it, I'll just give it another good home. Here is something I think is a movie, Murder in the Smithsonian. I should probably have looked up what this exactly was. I know it's like a murder mystery, but it sounded really familiar, but I've never seen it, and I've never read it, so I'm about to experience it for the first time. Here's something that I knew as soon as I saw it that MJ would love it, and that's The Babysitter. That's just like an awesome cover by Andrew Coburn. Andrew Coburn. Oh, hi, Orlo! Here's the mascot for my channel. She loved that. Next up, we have a Robert McCammon. I've read A Boy's Life last year. I really enjoyed it. This is They Thirst. I also have a couple of other of his books, including one called Ball. and that was on my TBR for Garb August. I don't know if I'll get to it though. That'll be an upcoming video, I think. Another McCammon swan song. This is what he's really known for, other than Boyhood. So he's a really good writer. I couldn't resist this. This is my favorite book. It's not the best book, but it's my favorite, and that's a copy of The Hobbit. I don't know why I'm so drawn to this color. It just reminds me of the 70s. This had to have been in the 70s. The blurb was written in the 70s. Yep. 1973 for this introduction, so I assume that's when this copy was created. Oh, the art is... There we go. That's amazing. I love it. I have some other Tolkien-inspired art that I'll have to show you later. I also... This is not part of that haul. But I was really excited when I got this. That's The History of the Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This came out this year. It has a bunch of notes. It's a reprint of 2 different volumes combined into one, but it has a bunch of notes from when he was creating the book, and it has like the full transcript of like the first draft of The Hobbit. So I'm gonna definitely read that later this year. But where is the time? Next, we have a classic, All Quiet on the Western Front. I didn't own this, and I wanted to, so free is free. I think I have a copy of this, but I can't find it. So I also have The Last of the Mohegans by James Fenimore Cooper. Needs no explanation. This might, and this is definitely a movie. I don't know if what came first, though. If this is a novelization of the movie, or if the movie came second. But Time After Time, which is H.G. Wells time traveling and going against Jack the Ripper. So. Good times. Huck Finn. I thought I didn't have a copy of this, and I found like 3. So this might be going to someone who needs it. Needs a little Huck. Here's Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. I read this 2 years ago, and it was fine. But like with the overwhelming praise this book gets, I think I just need to reinvestigate it, because I didn't see what the hype was about. But I'm also not that smart, so it's probably me. Here is The History of the Kings of Britain by Geoffrey of Monmouth. So, nice historical history. Thomas Hardy, The Return of the Native. I like this edition. Anyway. Next we have Final Exit, which is a book about how to commit suicide. And it's just a shame that this arrived damaged. So next we have My Antonia by Willa Cather. I could have sworn I had this, but maybe I offloaded it at some point. It was required reading in college, and I don't remember anything about it. So clearly it's that good. I have to try it again. Here's something I remember. Samuel Beckett's Endgame. I have this in a few different anthologies, but I don't have it in its own singular form. And I like Beckett. He's a little weird, but so am I. Speaking of a little weird is Charles Bukowski, Hot Water and Music. I've never read Charles Bukowski. He kind of gives me the vibe that it might be a little pretentious. The drowning in alcohol and cigarette smoke makes you a better writer kind of thing. But the universe keeps plopping these in my lap, like for free. So I've been collecting a small smattering of Bukowski books, and I'll give them a try. But I don't know how I feel about that. Here's another one, Women. So the covers on these Black Sparrow Press, well, they're vintage and kind of cool. They feel really lousy on my skin. Like I just want to bathe after touching it, which might be true of Charles Bukowski. I have Howard Zinn book on war. I'll probably hate it. No Exit and Other Plays by Jean-Paul Sartre. Again, we saw him earlier. Walden by Henry David Thoreau. I've never actually read it, so it's homework for me. We're almost done. We're almost done. You've stuck with me this far. Good job. Next, we have a David McCullough book, The Jamestown Flood. I really like his writing. His book on John Adams, which is right here. This was amazing. Phenomenal. I love it. But I also love John Adams because he's very amusing as a president. I think he's underrated, but there's that whole Alien Sedition Acts thing. Anyway, it's he's amusing at least. We can all agree on that. All right, we have a Chaucer reader, which is kind of pretty. This is all in the Middle English. So I think it's upstairs. I have some Chaucer, the Canterbury Tales in Middle English, not translated. I'm just intimidated by it, so I might have to read a translated copy first. But that's what I got there. So, Chaucer reader. Here's another high, well actually, this might be contraband now. So, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. This is a play. And I've never read it. I've read all the other stuff. I like Harry Potter just fine. I have hit my size limit, so a new video started. So hopefully we're still doing this. Anyway, Jack Kerouac on the Road. This is an old library copy, and it feels it. It's ooh. Is there something in here? No, just marker. Never read Kerouac, though I've read, like, you know, the people who followed in his footsteps, like Hunter S. Thompson. We'll see. Just poking along. This is an upgrade, Peter Straub's Ghost Story. And I just wanted it in a hardcover, and lo and behold, here it ends up on my doorstep. Getting close to the end, Lost Horizon by James Hilton. I don't remember what it is, but it's part of the Reader's Digest Best Reading. It's also, you know, kind of pretty on the inside. It was a gamble, and it was free. The only cost is for me to store it. Another thing for the love of words is Word Origins by Wilfred Funk, Lit. D. But, like, just flipping through here, I learned a bunch of stuff I didn't know. Like, the word purse is derivative off of the word bursa, and that's, like, in your joints, like, here's one in your elbow joint, which is like a pocket of fluid, which is like a purse, and that just brought me no ends of amusement. So, I'm gonna treasure that, I think. Hemingway, For Whom the Bell Tolls. Need to read more of his stuff. I've only read a couple things, and the titles aren't coming directly to mind. We have a biography on Einstein, his life and times. It's a big chunky thing. Nothing stuck in these pages. I think I might have left a whole bunch of, like, treasures in the pages of these books without showing you. I apologize, but we will see them again. And The Ladies of the Club. Wanted to read it? Now I have it. By Helen Hooven Santmeyer? There she is. You can read it for yourself. She is a lady of the club. Two more things. This is City, the reflections on the hospital, Akron City Hospital, and it's I'm gonna, it's just like a very pretty, get this out of here. Yeah. It's a very pretty book. It's like full of maps and stuff. Let's see if I can get something real quick. I am out of frame, I apologize. Yeah. So as the hospital in Akron City has grown, they have these like pages you can just see. I had like old like health books and encyclopedias that did this, but you can just see how it's grown. This is just a piece of local interest to me. I have spent a lot of time this year in this hospital, just like she probably has. So, yep, the city. Yeah, that's about the Akron City hospitals. And finally, this might get me put on a list, but I had to show it because it's cool. And it's only cool because of it being an artifact of its time, not from the contents. And that's the Anarchy Cookbook. The infamous book published by Barricade Books, where they stole the rights from the author. But it just shows you how to do a bunch of stuff you shouldn't do. Half of it done very badly, but you know, angsty kid of his time wants to teach you about grenades, explosives, drugs that do or do not even exist, booby traps. It's just neat. You can get this on Amazon now for like 20 bucks, but this is an older printing, which I thought was kind of neat. It is from, this is the 1989. I guess it's not that old, but still interesting. So that's it. If you've stuck around this long, I appreciate it. Just wanted to get this video out. These have been sitting in a pile, and I really need to house them on a shelf or something, and get them read. So, thank you guys. I will hope to speak to you soon, and you have a great day. Bye. What are you still doing here? So, I was in the shower. It's really humid here, so this is not sweat, I swear. But I was in the shower, and I remembered there's more books that I forgot about from this last haul, and I kind of want to get it all in one video. So I'm just going to go over the remainder of what I got. And it turns out that it's a lot of cool stuff, and I don't want to omit the cool stuff. So I had previously mentioned that I had received a bunch of books, and I had taken the remainder of what I didn't want after I picked through them to a used bookstore, and when I was helping the owner carry them in, she saw me eyeballing a few items, and she just gave them to me. She said that a lot of these she wouldn't know how to price anyway, so I will take that as, you know, I'll help you by taking it for free. So, I just have a couple of things. This was actually in her shop, but she was nice enough to give it to me, and that's the 1989 annual World's Best SF. This is a series of hardcover books that I am collecting. So this is the 1989, and once I get them all, I will show them to you. They're really cool. For some reason, they seem to have skipped a year where we can only receive a small paperback. But you know, these are awesome. I love the covers. I love classic SF. So this I was very happy to have. But I was very excited to get these. These are old Weird Tales magazines. Not of the classic era of like Lovecraft, but we have like Ramsey Campbell, T.E.D. Klein, who's really good, Tanith Lee, F. Paul Wilson. So I have the 65th anniversary issue, which is for spring of 1988. I don't really remember much about that year, as I was very young. But I also have Weird Tales, summer of 1988 as well. And that's just awesome. I love the covers of these. Love the contents too. Here's one. It's a bunch of vultures, and that's from the fall of 1988. and they make a awesome skull. I feel very strong kinship to vultures, mainly because that's kind of like how I do my book buying. I go to little free libraries, I go to used bookstores, and I just like eat the remainders of what people left behind. So here's Weird Tales of, I guess I can stop saying Weird Tales, but this is winter of 1988 and 89, and there are 2 covers. Look at that. Glare. That's awesome. Love it, love it, love it. And here is the spring of 1990. And then a lot of these were still in the shrink wrap. I took the ones out that like the covers were covered by the person's address. But Weird Tales, summer of 1990. And finally, Weird Tales of spring of 92. Still in this shrink wrap. Went to someone in Texas and made its way up to me. So, thank you. And that's really it. You probably won't see many more hauls for a while. Ooh, the frizz is coming back. Many more hauls for a while, so if this is something you like, let me know. But yeah, you enjoy yourselves, and I will see you later. Thank you.